Go find a girl. Move in with her.
Yep. No, it's actually nice. They're at the age where they're kind of like, Mom, go do your thing, and we're fine, and leave us alone. And so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go scuba diving. I'm gonna
took my family away from my Carolina home.
We're going live.
Had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sin was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Dance hall girls were the evening treat. Empty cartridges and blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man she couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Waiting for me there. Waiting for me there.
Hey YouTubers and friends, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live with Toledo Jess, Gano, the Treasure Vixens, and I. Hey YouTubers and friends, welcome to another Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's good to see all of you. We have our special guest, Bethany's from Alaska, joining us. She's a bottle digger, a detectorist, and exploring with the Nug. She's also a scuba diver. I'm sure you probably are subscribed to her. Let me head over to our other set and we'll get on with the show.
What?
What?
Jumped straight to it, didn't play his little ditty between?
What?
That was done after the starting
What a change up.
thumbnail thing.
Man, I'm not too cool with change now.
Oh yeah, that's because you're old. I hear the older you get, the worse you are with change.
Thank you.
Is that true, Jesse? Because one day I'll be as old as you.
Don't know. I change all the time. change my underwear, change my sock, change my shoes, change
You
my
just
shirt.
said you didn't like the change.
Who said I didn't like change?
Switched it up a little. And cool chick. Yeah, she seems pretty cool. Nug. That's why
Oh.
I asked her on, Jeremy. Yeah, buddy. This dream is filled with wise men. Wise asses.
I was about to say wise asses.
Oh, I know what's wrong. Okay, people, when you first come on here, make sure you hit that live chat. Don't stay on top chat.
Oh, and Mark Miller and GoPro Unlimited. When I put like live Morgan Dollar Raz replay, it means it's no longer live, it's a replay of a live. And when we repost this later on tonight, it will say Tuesday Night Hangout Live with whatever the title is, Alaska Relic Hunter Tuesday Night Hangout Live replay. Just to clear that up, guys.
Doesn't this little live button here on the screen tell you that too? Whether it's live or not?
Well, yeah, because if
But if it's not red,
when
you're
it's
behind.
when it's a replay, they're talking about the replays.
Oh,
Like from yesterday and last week, and
they're talking about another show, not the night show, not the show.
Right.
Back here right now, everybody. That show's over. You watch it later.
Go watch it. If you watch it, comment on it. And there's still a lot of spaces left for Friday night. So buy yours now. Donate yours now. Only $5 a slot. Head over to flashingyourpan.com and head over to Red's Coins and Collectible page and buy your Raz slot. Beautiful Morgan. Beautiful. We have a great group of people, metal detectorists, scuba divers, magnet fishermen, and fisherettes.
Look what Gold Unlimited says.
Title says Tuesday Night Hangout Live replay.
Yes, it does.
On this show?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Let's see it now.
Hey, well, doy. I can fix that really quick.
No, you just add replay to it. Replay.
In a twinkling of an eye. Refresh your page and it be gone.
Need your Harry Potter.
Voila. I think it will actually reset in a minute anyway, but poof. Come on, guys. I'm tired.
Oh, whatever.
I'll use Jesse's excuse. I'm old.
Ed had a catastrophe today.
That I did. Oh, I was so pissed off.
Make some hats.
You would have been proud of me. I didn't take my gun and take my cats out to the field.
I am proud of you.
I let them live.
That's a good thing.
If I was still living in Anacortes, Washington, they'd be crab bait.
Oh, kitty.
I did get upset and I threw them outside for a minute.
That I think was the best decision.
I didn't shoot them. I don't live by the coast anymore, so I can't put them in my crab pot. You would have been proud of me. But I had to clean the desk, and then the settings on my computer went all haywire. I booted it up, and it's like, what the beep? I got these two monitors back to normal, but the one in front of me I used my encoder on. It's like, oh my God, I can see it fine without my glasses. Oh, not really, man. My eyes are getting bad.
So let's say hi to our friends in the chat room.
No, we got a chatty chat room tonight.
Yeah, they ain't even paying
Oh,
attention.
good. Chat away.
Away.
Do crabs like fur? They like meat. They like meat, Drum. They like meat, Joel. They like meat. Ah.
Cut bait.
Funny
Uh,
stuff.
Girl, me.
I'm not Dano. I don't have the heart to do that. So, but if I ever get close,
that
I'll
Australian
take them
video,
to
they make a
Dano.
massive vest out of them. I think they look pretty cool to me.
Ed's all talk.
Mm.
I was bad though. Bad. But with everyone out there and two of my bien amigos and one of our favorite magnet fisherettes, you know, how can I stay in a bad mood?
And if you are
My
placing
cat better not jump on my desk right now. I tell
Yeah,
you that.
that'd be wise.
Christmas music calms you, Ed. Turn some Christmas music
Oh
on.
no, Christmas
go.
music won't calm
Silent
me
Night
at
or
all. No,
It makes you happy.
no.
Hey, I know. You know what's going to make you happy, Ed? You know what's going to make you happy right now?
In
Say
2
hello to
weeks
the
when
chat room.
I go
Say hello
to
to
the
the chat room.
river.
Say hello to the chat room.
That will make me happy because
I know
this
it
is
will.
my favorite time of week.
That's right.
And I see, well, Benzo Bro was first in line tonight, 2 hours early. Oh my God.
How was Earth?
Dwight's in here tonight. It's nice to see Dwight again.
Yeah, he's been kind of MIA, I guess, with winter coming along. He's gonna mellow out.
That brown-
Melanie's here from Washington. Richard Davis, better half. We have Mark Miller and Dennis Hidrick.
Did we forget the world's greatest moderator? We always got to throw him in.
You just brought him up. We have Peener and Heavy Meadow Detectives.
Scuba Sonia just showed up. Hey, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia. We have Exploring with the Nug, Jeremy. Hopefully, I'll be seeing them shortly after our show with all those guys in January. Hopefully, I'll be down in Nashville and maybe help them out.
There's Chris from King Prospector.
Hey, brother of another mother, how you doing?
Elons and more. What up, buddy?
Snorkel Pirate, what's going on, Snorkel?
Vendetta, good to see ya. Michael, busy bee detecting. I saw you comment on Bethany's post for the show.
Yeah, what's up,
Thanks
David?
for showing up.
Relics. What's up? What's up? Uh-oh, I'm getting
I
some.
think that was you that commented on her post. I think. Man, some major blonde moments today, I tell ya. Random Relics, good to see ya.
Heavy metal meadow detective. Meadow, not metal. Meadow.
Oh, there's the other Ed, HD Shovel Ed. What's up, Ed?
Hey, what's up?
Give our love to Judy, Ed.
There's
Hope she's doing good. T-Bones, good to see ya.
I saw a picture that Ed posted of Judy. It looks like she's coming along pretty good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. Coming along good. I'm glad to see that.
Jeremy, the other vixens with their kid at karate. And family first, blood before extended,
What's up, T-Bone?
I don't know if you're still here, but I was gonna say there was an old dog. I saw old dog in there. I just wanted to give him. What's up, James?
Old dog, new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
James is in here. Ed, your brother, he's here.
Yeah, I was on the phone with them and told them we're gonna have Bethany from Alaska Relic Hunters on tonight. You might enjoy the show. Of course, I want my brother in here every night
All right. Cool.
or every Tuesday night.
GoPro Unlimited said he sent you a package for us. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
For the whole crew and even Mr. Lodak.
Oh, and Miss Laurel, what up?
Miss Laurel. There she is.
Laurel and Kevin Hubbard in the house. Got to watch out for Laurel, guys. Be careful, Dennis. Be careful, Dwight. Laurel's in the house.
You guys better settle down.
Anderson, what's up?
Telling everybody to settle down. She's gonna stir the pot, is what she's doing.
Yeah.
She likes to do that, don't she?
Well, she is a New Yorker after all.
Say that
out loud.
Kevin Hubbard.
She Digs is in here in the house this evening.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she is our Norwegian friend. She's up late. Thank you very much, or real early. Thanks for joining us, She Digs.
Kevin Hubbard, Nick Mulliner. What's up?
Yeah.
I think did we get everybody?
I don't know. If we missed you, sorry. Welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout Live, and welcome to the Flash Fam.
Oh, we got some more people just come in though. Look at that. American Woodland Relics.
Yeah, hey Paul, how you doing? Do I smell Jersey history Hunter raid?
Oh, stand back.
Maybe.
Stand back.
Maybe.
Really just got done with their show.
Well, we love the JHH crowd.
We've been rated.
Hello, you screen licking New Yorker.
Yeah. We've been raided.
Already had it, Dwight and Miss Laurel.
Yeah.
A
room on their own.
Kevin better pull in the leash on that girl of yours.
They put a helmet on me so I can't lick windows.
You know, she's gonna be giving Dennis and Dwight a hard time. I actually enjoy watching it. It's hard not to laugh. So, but
It's like a brother-sister thing.
Yeah, sometimes I gotta scroll up and go, what started this?
Oh, hey, we have another Alaskan in the chat room. We have Keithy6 from the Fairbanks area. There's a guy you could go detecting with and exploring with, Bethany. Have you ever done anything with Keithy6?
No, I haven't. Nope, I don't get up to Fairbanks too much. Kind of stay down south a little bit more, but I would like to, so hoping maybe I'll get some good connections and head up that way.
Heck yeah.
Hey, Keithy, get a hold of Bethany, man. She even has a bed and breakfast you could stay the night at. And she could show her her neck of the woods. Show you her neck of the woods. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, stop it. Did you see what She Digs wrote? Read it. Go back and read it. You'll like it.
Ooh.
I've got nervous, dude. I have decided to get live on your show for the first time for me in history. Not tonight. Well, of course not tonight, She did. But soon. Well, you'll need to get a hold of me because I'm booked solid through February. So
right.
I try and keep bookings out about 3 months. So get a hold of me. You know my email. It's right there. and we could get you in, and we'll get you on, and we'll let you make fun of me too. But right on, right on. Sounds good, she digs.
Cool. So we have, oh, there they are. What's up, dudes?
Dudes.
I love
Yeah.
how we ask people how they're doing, and then we'll just be silent for a second.
Okay.
And
Like
wait for
we're
them to
waiting for
answer us
them to
back.
reply.
Need to type.
We all good?
Hope
We
you're
just-
great, Audra and Rach.
Love it.
Maybe you need to come to Flash Bash and end Gold Rush days.
Yeah. Flashback's gonna be a pretty nice place this year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You
But
guys
let's
excited?
get to our guest. I think
We
we
got it.
almost took care of everybody.
Yeah, I think so. If we missed you, sorry.
But we have a guest here patiently holding on. Her kids are like, well, blankety blank blank, Mom. You took away our internet so you could be on the show. So we better
Around
get to
knocking
it.
their phones out of their hands and shutting their computers off.
Right. She's been on with us for what, an hour now?
I
They're
said, turn off that Wi-Fi.
Yeah. No, I'm betting you got some good kids and they're happy you're doing this.
We've only been live for
Yeah,
22 minutes.
they're pretty good. They're pretty supportive of what I do, so
That's
no
cool.
complaints there.
Cool.
That's cool. Let me pin you up, Bethany, because now you're in the spotlight. Ta-da!
Okay.
There she is.
So do we're joking around about the kids wanting the Wi-Fi, but with you living in Alaska, do your kids spend a decent amount of time outside? Do they love being there?
Well, yeah, my two older ones do. They really enjoy being out. And, I can't get them into the metal detecting, but they love snowboarding and riding our snow machines and all of that. I mean, they're normal kids. They still love their video games, and I still sometimes have to kick them out. But yeah, they really like it.
They still like doing all the Daredevil boy stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I have to look the other way.
No doubt. Okay, I know I'm a mom, but I'm gonna go over here around the corner where I can see what they're doing.
They all heal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we heal. Bones mend, cuts, they heal. So it's cool.
That's where I tell them I'm gonna go diving and don't die until I get back, okay?
No house fires.
Yep.
Yep, I
none
have
of your
said that
kids are
before.
certified?
My oldest at 17, he got certified with me, and he doesn't like the cold water diving. So we're planning a trip. I'm going to take him to Egypt this next March, and we're going to go diving in the Red Sea. I want to get him into warmer water and do something fun with him. Kind of
Right.
get him back into diving, because the whole dry suit and all of that was just a little much for him at 16.
I'm surprised he even tried it. I would not have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scuba Sonia
Well,
says she's a warm water mermaid. I know she really likes Dominican Republic and the Caribbean.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I haven't done any warm water diving really, so I'm looking forward to it. This month, I'm going to be down in Florida doing a couple of dives with some folks down there, doing a couple charters. And so it's going to be my first time for warm water diving, and I'm excited. I don't have to have a dry suit, and up here in the winter, I have about 32 extra pounds I have to dive with. And so it's going to be a whole new experience.
So do you dive underneath ice water?
I am not certified for ice diving yet. That's something that I might get to at some day, but I'm pretty new in diving, and so trying to work my way up in there carefully. I only got my advanced open water certification like a month ago. So just taking my time, working on my skills, trying to get better at it.
Do you ever find yourself nervous? Are you is this a fear you overcame, or?
Yeah. I only got certified in June.
Wow.
And before then, I had not even swam with my face in the water because growing up here in Alaska, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. You just kind of dog paddle if you're anywhere. And I had to overcome a lot of fear to do this. The instructor told me I was probably the most terrified new diver he had ever seen. And I pushed through, and I'm just totally obsessed with it now. It's my favorite place to be. I love it.
Oh, that's crazy. I think that's also really inspiring to a lot of people who feel like they'd be too afraid to try it. So thanks for getting out there and conquering your fears, because it'll probably help a lot of other people.
And I try to encourage people to do that, because a lot of people say, oh, I'm claustrophobic. Oh, I'm afraid of the water. And I tell them I was all of that. First time I put that mask on and had to take it off underneath the water, I was terrified. But I was just determined to push through, and I'm so glad, because it's been one of the best things I've ever done.
Fantastic. Have you ever seen anything questionable in the water? Any monsters or anything like that?
Nessie.
No. Nothing like that, but everything down there it's so different. It really hit me that when you go out on top of the water, it just looks like water. And the minute that you descend, it's like a whole community down there. Everything is moving and swimming, and there's so much life, even up here in Alaska, and creatures that you could never imagine. They're glowing, and they have like electrical impulses and things I never knew even existed. Every time I go down, I'm just amazed at what's under there.
I don't want to hog all the time talking about scuba diving. It's just something that I admire a lot, because I am also afraid of it. But you had talked about your B&B earlier. Or we had talked about your B&B earlier, and that totally piqued my interest. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be able to offer that now. And I live 4 miles away from a new ski resort that they're just opening up. And so that impacted my decision to open up my B&B here. And it's pretty easy to access. People can ride ATVs, snow machines from my house onto trails. So I'm kind of trying to cater to people who are more outdoorsy. I'm 5 miles away from the Hacker Pass Mountains. There's a lot of gold mining history there, a lot of old ghost town type remains, and people love to go hiking up there, snowshoeing, skiing. So, that's kind of what I'm catering to with my B&B. And eventually I would like to coordinate some tours with it, so I can have guests come, and it'll be a tour package where they'll be able to, I'll take them out, show them local history, maybe even the ones that want to scuba dive in Alaska. I can get them connected up with the local dive shop, get gear arranged, boats, things like that. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. It's pretty new in the early stages right now, but very excited about that.
What sparked your interest in it? What made you decide to do something like that?
Well, honestly, I decided to do B&B because my mortgage is really expensive, and I lost my job in March with COVID.
I'm sorry.
And so this whole summer, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. And with my relic hunting and scuba diving, regular 9-to-5 job is frustrating for me because I want to be able to take time, and I want to travel and do that sort of thing. So I've been brainstorming, what can I do? How can I bring income in and still leave myself free to go find history and things I want to do. That's kind of what sparked it, something that, and then I love visiting with people and showing them Alaska. So kind of works in well with that.
It's fantastic.
So did you buy this place for that? Was it already a B&B? Or is it something you just turn your house into?
No, it wasn't a B&B. When we got this place, there was a large open room above the top of my garage. It wasn't insulated, just a large open space. And so that was one of the things I decided was I'm just gonna build a B&B up there. And it's been a massive project. My boys and I did most of it ourselves. And we hired out a few things like building some dormer windows and re-roofing and some things like that. But, we were putting up nailers and putting up insulation and plastic and drywall. It's been a long process for us to finally get it to this point where we have our first guest in right now. So.
Cool.
When you do your breakfast, do they just come down and dine with you? Like, do they, they hang out with you in your kitchen, or do you have a separate area for that, or you bring them their food, or?
Well, it's really up to the guest, and it's something that I offer them. If they would like to have breakfast with me in my house, we can do a cooked breakfast. Mostly it's set up where it's things in the kitchen. It pretty much has a full kitchen in it. So it's stocked with foods for breakfast. And most of the guests like the fact that they can come in, it's a private entrance. And especially with COVID, there's a lot of people that are concerned right now about that. And that's part of the reason I made it with a separate entrance. And so that they never have to interact with me or my children if they don't want to for safety reasons. And we've done a lot of research on the cleaning and sterilization. So between each person that comes in, they don't have to worry about that. They come in and it's all very clean and ready for them.
Fantastic.
So how long have you been open? How long have you been open with the bed and breakfast?
Well, December 1st is when we finally completed it and opened it. And December 4th, we had our first guest, and she booked for a month. So we were very pleased with that.
Cool.
Now there was a question from Cheryl when we were talking about scuba diving and stuff. Are you going to do any underwater metal detecting?
I would like to at some point. Right now, I have the Garrett AT Pro, and so as far as deep water diving, it's not going to work for that. I invested, quite a little chunk of money in getting my diving gear, so that detector might have to wait a little bit.
Right.
The gear, the training. Yeah.
In steps.
Yeah, it's kind of spendy to get all of your own scuba gear, especially in Alaska where you've got the dry suit and you've got undergarments and a lot of that. And it's a small fortune to get yourself set up. And so one thing at a time.
Amateur question here. Dry suits, are they literally as they sound? They keep you dry?
Unless you have a leak, which has happened.
Wow.
But yeah, it has a seal that goes around your wrists and around your neck, and then it has a waterproof zipper. And that is the goal, is to keep you dry, because when the water gets down to 38 or 40 degrees, you could dive in a wetsuit, but you wouldn't last long. It's just too cold, unless like with the dredging, that's kind of different, because
you usually have a hot water heater for your wetsuit. And but I do know some dredgers that use dry suits. I wouldn't recommend a dry suit dredging, but for scuba diving, definitely, pretty much anywhere really. for scuba.
Is that seal just like thin rubber that just kind of sticks to you? Would
Well, no, it doesn't stick to you at all. It's actually a very large suit, and it inflates with air is how it works. And so that's part of the reason it's something you have to have a special certification for, because you have to learn how much air to add or to let out. And it allows you to have several layers of undergarments. So like in the winter when I'm diving up here, I'll have wool long underwear on and a rash guard. And then I have a thick scuba pro like undergarment, and then my dry suit over that. And so, you know, you keep air in your suit just enough so you don't get squeezed by the pressure too much and that you don't freeze.
wow.
But you obviously don't want to overinflate, or then you've got buoyancy issues. So
Right.
Get down. So you your bed and breakfast. How do you find out? How do you find that? Do you have a Facebook page for that?
So I'm working on a website right now, but the bed and breakfast is run through Airbnb. And so if you go to my Facebook page, which is Bethany Alaska Relic Hunter,
Uh-huh.
so Alaska Relic Hunter, that's the page. And then I have a link on there that goes to the Airbnb. And so yeah, it's booked through the Airbnb. It's a lot easier for me and takes away a lot of headache.
Cool. So we were also talking about your metal detecting and bottle hunting. I watched one of your videos there where you were. I'm assuming this is what we were talking about earlier, where you go in and when you're looking for a bottle dump, you use your metal detector to try to help you locate areas where a dump could be. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, well, because the brush is so thick up here, a lot of people don't understand. But if you do watch some of those videos, you'll see how difficult it is to try to detect for one target.
Yeah.
And so up here, we kind of use it to look for a bottle dump. So what I'll do is do research about an area where I'm pretty sure there was either a gold mining camp or something like that. And then go into the area and just start metal detecting until you find a large area of targets. And that's when I'll do like a test dig and see, you know, what we're coming up with. And, you know, after a few years doing it, you kind of know things are layered out, and you've got maybe 1950s tin on top. And if you keep going down to the bottom of the dump, you know, the bottom, you'll usually, you know, find some older stuff down there.
I was going to ask you,
But
when you locate an area where you think there's a bottle dump, you said you do a test dig, right, to see you're looking for garbage, correct?
yeah.
I mean, tins and things like that. That's why your metal detector hits. So is there a way that you dig into this pile to find the better stuff, the older stuff?
A lot of work, a lot of cutting through roots and tree stumps, and it's physically exhausting, but you just start going down, and you go down until you hit clay at the bottom, and you see, you know, where you're at, and kind of spread out that way. Some of these bottle dumps are huge. There's a bottle dump that I dug on for 3 summers, and it's still not dug out. And, you know, it just depends upon how many people were working there. Some of these mines had hundreds and hundreds of people there for years. And so the amount of trash that's piled up, it's epic. It's incredible.
So what's the oldest you found, the oldest pile you found? Or I should say the oldest in that pile.
Yeah. A lot of what we find is World War II up here. That was obviously with Alaska being very involved in World War II.
Right.
There's a lot of World War II, but the older history surrounds the Alaska Railroad. And so there's a lot of state land that, you know, is where they used to have people on the Alaska Railroad during the 64 earthquake, and, you know, just things that have happened. They've moved the tracks in different places. So, you know, a lot of times it will surprise you that out in the middle of nowhere, there's things left because time has changed things. But the Alaska Railroad, you know, you can find things from the late 1800s in those areas. And so some of the oldest things we found are things we can date to like 1880, you know, 1890, that time period. The oldest coin that I found up here was a 1901 Indian head, and which is pretty old for Alaska. I mean, we're a really young state.
Right. So do you,
You know.
like, what out of like, are you fond of the older stuff, or do you have a preference? Are you looking for something in particular, or a favorite thing?
Oh yeah, the older the better. If I can date something before 1910, I'm thrilled, because it's much harder to find older stuff. I can spend all day long in a room with up here. I mean, I still love it. You pull out things you never thought you would find, and, you know, I can just spend 12 hours out there in the summer, and, you know, it's light all night long, so you lose track of time. But I definitely love the older stuff, finding stuff. We found some axe heads from the late 1800s that were stamped, and that's, you know, that's what you like, the older stuff, if I can.
So I see you've been doing quite a bit of traveling too. You were in England not too long ago. How long ago was that?
Yeah, a year ago, I spent about a month over there in the UK, and it was all pretty much a relic hunting trip. Incredible. I've been trying to figure out how to get back over there. I was supposed to go back this past spring, and then COVID changed that. And then I was hoping for this fall, and that they're still on lockdown.
Yep.
So tentatively, I'm looking at maybe next summer trying to get back over. But I made a lot of good friends over there, and I spent 2 weeks in Greenwich, close to the Thames River, doing mudlarking, and then a couple of weeks metal detecting.
Well, that's really cool. You got more than just a day or two, and you got a couple of weeks in of each.
Yeah, and I don't know. Some people aren't really familiar with mudlarking, but what that is you get a permit from the London Port Authorities, and the Thames River has huge tides every day, and so twice a day at low tide, if you have this permit, you can go down and walk the shore and pick up anything that's 300 years or newer.
Wow.
As long as it's not more than 10% silver or gold. If it is, then you have to show it to their fines liaison officer and get it approved, basically. So, you know, for me, coming from Alaska with such young history, to be able to walk over there and pick up pieces of pottery that are old, and we found coins from the 1800s just laying there on the shore, bottles. It's really amazing, all of the relics that are right there on the Thames River. And so, I mean, 2 weeks there doing that, it almost isn't enough time. It just becomes addictive.
That's not enough time, huh? Oh no.
Yeah.
We
And
got
then
ourselves into such an addictive situation here, didn't we?
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, I spent 2 weeks over in Shropshire on the border of Wales. Got to go into Wales one day and did metal detecting there, and was with a really, really great company. It's Metal Detecting Holidays in Shropshire there. And they were awesome. They put me up in a really nice Victorian bed and breakfast, and they had a guide. They had all the permissions arranged for all the detecting, took us out every day, provided us breakfast and lunch, and just a really, really fun trip. And we were over there with a group. There's 6 of us from the U.S. that went over. And it was kind of a unique time because one of the men in our group, he found a hoard of Saxon coins in this area while we were out protecting that really shocked the archaeologists in that area because they had always suspected that coins had been minted in that area but didn't have proof. And then for our group to be there and find, I think it came out to 7 coins that were in perfect condition, just newly minted. So that created quite a stir that, you know, these Americans showed up and found these coins over there.
Jealous.
We wouldn't do that. So you said something that kind of went by real quick. There are metal detecting tour companies. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, we went with a company, and it's Metal Detecting Holidays, and it's they're in Shropshire. Yeah, you can book with them online, and they give you a place to stay, provide you with 2 meals a day, and they've done all the permits, and they work with their fine liaison officer, so you don't have to worry about, you know, who you talk to and who it's checked off by, and they run it all through there, and then once it's approved, it's shipped back over to you if it's things you can keep. So it just takes care of the legality and all of that. And yeah, it was a great experience with them. I would recommend if people want to do that. They were super great group of guys over there.
And it was a trip worth taking like that, huh?
What was that?
I said it was a tour worth taking.
Definitely.
I mean, because, you know, sometimes.
Yes, definitely worth the money.
Yeah, sometimes you can get on a tour situation like that, and it's, you know, to the worst hotels, to the crappiest places, you know, the worst, you know, nothing of quality at all. GoPro Unlimited's got a question. What is your favorite relic that you found? I believe is what he said.
What is your favorite find?
What is your favorite find?
That's a hard one.
That's kind of an unfair.
Well, in the UK, my favorite find. What was that?
That's a kind of a hard question. Like, you know, which one's your favorite kid?
Exactly. In the UK, my favorite find was we were in a big field and I got a 1696 silver sixpence, and it had been made into a love token. And so what they would do is just rub off all of everything on it till it was just smooth, and then they would bend it into an S shape, and they would present it to a girl they wanted to court. And if she accepted, she could put a hole in it and wear it around her neck or something. Huh. And so to find that silver love token from 1696, that was really cool for me. And so that's one of the things that when I get that back, I'm going to put a hole in it and wear it just for the sake of, I think it needs that. So
the missing piece.
Here in Alaska, it's hard to say my favorite find. Probably one of my favorites was from a bottle dump, and it was that really large bottle dump that I dug on for 3 different seasons. And it was a 1920 child cast iron sewing machine. It was a little trainer, and it looked like a regular Singer, but it had a little cast iron stand, and it was a little hand crank. And from what I could tell, I think it came from Germany. It's out here in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, this child little training sewing machine. And I do have pictures of it on my Instagram and on my Facebook page, so people can go back through and look for that. I found that a couple of years ago, but still in really good shape. I was able to use some electrolysis and some citric acid soaps and got it cleaned up really nice.
Cool. It wasn't a salesman sampler, was it?
No,
No.
nope. It was a child. They had these that they would train little girls with, and I found only a couple of them online. They're not real common.
No. Okay. Kind of like the one you got, the little more modern though.
What?
Little kid sewing machine. They work. You know.
Yeah.
So Madison Maine asks, oops, sorry, it just disappeared on me. Do you believe Keith 6 is legit?
Well, that's funny. I've talked with him quite a bit on Facebook, and we've followed each other for a long time. We haven't been able to meet in person, but I do believe he is there and he is real. So I'm not sure
Hello.
what their question.
We've known Keithy for quite a while too. We've never met him or seen him. No wonder.
Yeah.
Keithy's a good
Okay,
guy.
well, next summer I'll try to dig with him and we'll see.
Yeah, Keithy's a good guy. I bet you'd have fun going out digging with him.
And then to kind of
Yeah.
go back to when you were over in the UK and you were doing these detecting tours, HC Chevrolet asked, does the company provide the detectors if you don't have them?
Yes, they told me that you could rent equipment from them if you need to, but I took my own because I had just recently got my AT Pro, and it's hard to get a good chance to use them here in Alaska. Like I said, I wanted some experience with trying to learn different signals, and so I took my own when I went.
You get any grief for traveling with that?
No, but I've put a few wrong things in carry-ons before. I've lost some of my shovels and things like that, and they all look at you like you're crazy. Why do you have this sharp spade in your bag? And I'm like, oh,
Can this be used for a weapon?
yeah,
I put
yeah.
all my
And they're like,
tools and stuff like that in my check-in bag. You know, metal detectors, shovels, picks, all that crap. You know, much easier.
Let me give
Well,
a quick
now I-
shout. Pardon me, Beth Neal. I need to give a quick shout out to She Digs.
Thanks for the super chat.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry
Right.
about that, Bethany. All right. Where were you, Jesse? Or where?
Not me.
Well, I can, so I'm trying to work on hypothetical questions. So
We got a hypothetical.
Oh, a
Bucket
new
list.
one.
No holds back. If you were to travel wherever you wanted, like what is the item you're looking for, but you haven't been able to find it yet? You know, is it what got you started, or why are you looking for it?
well, I would probably love like a piece of personalized jewelry from 1700s or 1600s, something like that. I haven't really found a lot of jewelry, just where I dig a lot in bottle dumps. I haven't, and I did find a 1930s silver tag clasp that originally came from Texas. It had a little spur on it, and that's about all I found for jewelry up here. And so for me, I would love to find something that was personalized and very old, something that connected to a woman somehow.
That's cool.
Well,
I like that. Yeah.
So do you also, in the realm of treasure hunting, do you go out and try to look for native artifacts? I know you probably can't metal detect for them, but you know, things like that.
Yeah, no, not up here in Alaska. I would end up in prison for that one. It's very, yeah, it's very closed down up here. I was born and raised up here, but I'm not Alaskan native. And it's, yeah, I would have to put it back and run the other way if I ever ran across something. It's very, very, yeah, you don't want to mess with that.
Good to know that.
So if you
Yeah.
find something like that, you just leave it be.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You put it back and you say, you know, I mean, I could go ahead and I could talk to the native corporation and let them know. But even I have to be very careful. You have to, I think it's up to $700 or $800 a year just to get permission to cross native land up here. And Alaska is kind of different than most states in that is there's hundreds of thousands of acres that are designated only to the native tribes.
Right.
And so you have to be very careful with that. And so it's something that I don't even think about looking for.
Bummer. But yeah, I can understand. I can understand why you wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take that chance. Probably, like you said, even if you did find it, you don't know that you'd even want to tell anybody.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. You'd want to be really cautious with that. So, no, I haven't. You know, I've talked to a lot of people down south and they find arrowheads and things like that. And I've never been fortunate enough to see anything like that. That's one of my things I would like to do is I'm trying to work with some of my friends that follow my page to maybe arrange a trip down south where I could find something like that. I think that would be really unique.
Well, arrowheads can be found all over. I have a nice little collection myself that was found here in Ohio. Our buddy Lou Duke there, he actually naps arrowheads and finds some nice points. But he makes them himself, you know.
He's quite talented.
Yes, and there are a lot of people that are finding them all over the country and making them. So you got to be careful there too.
Right. So
okay.
It's so hard to imagine having the knowledge to be able to tell the difference between the two. That's crazy.
A lot of it's by feel. And so, from what I understand, I'm no pro, but
That's one of them. Another thing is the sharpness of the tool. Sometimes it's been sitting, it's not going to be as sharp as a newly made one. That's just,
That would make sense.
you know, again, I'm not a pro or really an expert at arrowheads, but I found my share of them. And any arrowheads that I buy, like I have some that were actually modern points, but they're signed. You know, I have the guy that's making them sign them for me.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, so that way, you know, everybody knows they're not old, they're modern. You know, but yeah. In fact, I don't think Ed's got his background up. If he had his background up, if you look on his wall, you'll see a small little knife hanging there. That's one of the ones I got, modern.
it's nice blade.
Yeah, it is a nice blade.
Yeah, Todd can't see you representing. You ain't got your face up there, Ed.
No. After this, I'll put it on. I saw him come in. He should have been here earlier. What can I say? He's been laying on his couch all day. Jeez.
His house has been COVID ridden.
Yeah, he's in quarantine, damn it. Why weren't you here at 5 o'clock? I love you, Todd. Hope everyone fares well.
He probably fell asleep.
Probably next to the dog.
I think it's just now feeding time for him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 6 o'clock there, so.
So what got you going on doing a YouTube channel?
Well, I only started my YouTube channel about a year ago. And just before I went to the UK, I was watching everything I could on leadlarking and metal detecting over there. And I started to get a few more people following my Facebook page. And I thought, you know, a lot of people have said, you should put a video out there. And as I was out, I just started taking videos on my phone. I was like, this is epic. I have to show someone this. And so as I would find these things, I started, you know, posting a little bit on Facebook, but then they don't let you post long videos and all of that. So about a year ago, I started my YouTube channel. And when just before I went to the UK, I had, I think, 44 subscribers or something like that. And within the following year, I'm getting up close to 1,000 now, just going to the UK and having some collaboration and other people like that. It's really been able to grow.
That was something I wanted to mention tonight too. Let me see here real quick. All right. Yeah, you're at 932 subscribers.
Oh, we need to get it to 1,000
Getting
tonight,
there.
guys.
We need to get her to
Yeah.
1,000.
Yes.
Let's get her to 1,000. Alaska Relic Hunter. Got some really cool videos up there.
The link's in the description below.
Get her to 1,000 tonight before she gets out, or at least closer. You know,
You know,
Yeah.
1 year and getting to 1,000 is a real accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure you put a lot of work in to get it, but good job.
Took me forever. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, it's taken a little while, but, you know, for me, trying to put all that time into videos and all that, it's worth it because I love sharing, you know, with other people what I'm doing, what I'm finding. But I also feel like I'm leaving something behind, and I'm documenting pieces that would be lost forever.
Right.
So
Now,
for me,
I was going to ask you about what I noticed that you do that's I haven't seen anybody else do. Your milk bottle you found. You actually dug up all the pieces to it and then glued it together. And I've noticed that you've done that to other pieces. Is that something that you do regularly? Which is kind of cool, I think. You know?
Oh, like
Yeah.
the restoration of it?
Yeah. Well, more like I wouldn't call it a restoration because she doesn't try to make it perfect, but she tries to get it all together. And that's cool, you know, because you're not going to get it all perfect because, especially with glass,
Right.
chips, now you're going to have little pieces missing. But we get the whole thing together with that milk bottle. That was awesome, you know. So that's really cool. I'm
yeah,
glad you do that. That's kind of neat. You get to find.
I
Look,
like to,
go ahead.
yeah, I like to do that if it's something that I've never found up here in Alaska, because especially the older things like that milk bottle, that was my first Alaskan milk bottle I've ever found. And, you know, it was, you know, the light purple because of age. And the area was late 1800s. And some of that, I just can't make myself leave it. I have to try to find what I can. And, you know, my house looks like an antique store, and I have a lot of things displayed everywhere. And they're just for me. I look at them and they make me happy, and I know what the history is of that area. So I have a few things around my house that have been glued together. I have a really old #2 crock pot that we found, and the crock, and I was like, it's a puzzle. It took me a while to find the right glues I needed to get it to hold, but it sits in my living room and I love it.
That's
Know?
cool. That's cool. Yeah, when I was just not talking to you about that, I was flashing on Rose over here. When she finds part of a bicycle, she's looking for the rest of it. She wants, where's the rest of that bike? Where's the rest of that grill?
Yeah. Sometimes you have to pull it out piece by piece, so gotta get it all.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
So
We've been
let me
here 3 times. Got to pull that motorcycle out this time.
ask Rose. Rose, you put that stuff together, glue it together and stuff?
No, not really. We take things that we like and set them aside and say we're going to do stuff with it, and then we put it into editing. So
Yeah, I just thought that was cool. I saw you doing that. Now I haven't watched the video. Wait a minute, back to it here. The oh, I guess that is the one I watched. The embossed milk bottle. Okay, I thought it was something else. Very just some really cool videos there. I hope you keep doing it. I noticed this.
Well, I have a new one.
Go
I
ahead.
have a new one coming out here pretty soon. And either tonight or tomorrow of a really cool trip that I got to do to Las Vegas just a few months ago. And I'm really excited about that one. I had one of the gentlemen that follows my page heard I was going to Vegas to go diving, and he sent me coordinates for GPS to find an old Las Vegas City bottle dump.
Oh, awesome.
And
well,
miles and miles of old trash. I wish it wouldn't have been quite so hot because I only got to spend about 3 hours out there. But yeah, so that's the next video coming up. And then the one following that is me diving near the Hoover Dam in Lake Mead. And that was super cool too, just the history of that area.
And we were talking about that a little during pre-show, but we didn't want to get too carried away before the show. What was under the water from the construction of the Hoover Dam, or what kind of things were down there?
Well, there is so much under there, and I was only able to spend one day there, and we did 3 tanks diving. So we got to see 3 different areas. The one area, we just pretty much dove one of the walls close to the Hoover Dam, and in that area, you can see where they had cut out the rock and that sort of thing. So you could see where they had worked that, and that was very unique. And then the other 2 dives were out deeper, and the original railroad tracks from them hauling everything in and out on the trains are still there. And the water has washed out a lot of the soil from underneath. You can go down and dive underneath the old tracks and look up and see how they were constructed. They have the old tunnels that are still there, and you can go look at those. Just all sorts of pieces of equipment.
Yeah, I imagine some of that stuff they took down there too big to bring back up.
Well, what happened was when they flooded it, all that stuff was left down there. So, there at one point, now the water level has dropped so much over the last few years that, there's more and more exposed. But at one point, the area where everybody had lived was even underwater. It was basically a town underwater. So things were just left. It was so massive, the construction and the amount of people, that when they flooded it, there's just tools left behind. I went down and there was an old nail keg still down there. And so it's amazing what you can see. And I can, at that point, you can only go so deep, really deep, deeper in the lake. There's a lot of other things that more experienced divers can get down and see. Right now, I can only go down to about 120 feet.
So are you allowed to pick anything, or you got to leave it all alone?
No, yeah, you're not allowed to. It's a historical spot, but I was able to take a lot of video, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to have a video. I had my GoPro with me, and I got some fun video of some fish there in the lake and
I was gonna
some of
ask about
the
fish. Any
historical
giant catfish?
pieces. Didn't see any giant catfish, but I did get to see some catfish. So yeah, catfish and striper and some stuff like that. And so that's all going to be in that video coming up. It should be a lot of fun.
That's Rose's biggest fear, to be eaten up by a giant catfish.
Man-eating catfish, a Wells catfish. They're real. They'll eat you.
Oh yeah, they're big too. They're bigger than you.
And they get big in areas like dams and stuff like that. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, I wonder if you saw any giant catfish.
Everybody told me to watch for them, and I was really hoping. I was just like, I really need to see one. I need to get one on video, but no, never got a chance to see a giant one. They were all probably 3 or 4 feet. That was the biggest.
There's a huge quarry not far from here. There's machinery down there, some cars also, but the local fire department's scuba search and rescue uses it, and one of the guys, they own an excavation company that does a lot of our site work. And he's like, yeah, it gets kind of nerve-wracking down there when you see a fish swim by you that can swallow you. So.
You got to think back to that time when they were building that stuff too. All that equipment probably was cheaper just to leave it behind than try to drag it.
With that quarry, when they hit the spring, it filled up so fast they couldn't retrieve nothing.
I'm talking about places like Hoover Dam and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was probably just easier to leave it. Well, there's a lot of places, like in Washington State back home, under Baker Lake, there's a ranch. And like in California, under some of the reservoirs, there's old mining towns and stuff. So
we have a few of those in Illinois. There's a lake that was a man-made lake that was, they filled in a city. So underneath that lake, and even if the water levels get low, there's been times where boats have hit old structures and tipped over because the water levels were so low.
Well, yeah, during the drought, there the water got so low that some of those buildings were starting to show up, and a lot of new ground was discovered for gold. But yeah, so that water's coming back up, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It only took a little bit of rain to get everything back up.
Well, I was talking about in Nevada.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah, I think it fluctuates.
Yeah.
That's what they were telling me, is that it fluctuates with, especially in the summer, it's gonna go down a lot. I was diving there in September. So they had just, it was still in the daytime, it was 100, 105 while I was there. So still pretty hot temperatures, and that, I want to go back to that bottle dump in the winter when I can actually spend a good day out there, because by about 12:30 or 1 p.m., I had to call it. I was starting to get a headache, felt dehydrated, and I've been drinking water all day. So
early in the morning or even late at night,
Yeah, wintertime be a good time for the Nevada desert, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And coming from Alaska, I'm not really used to that. I mean, here you don't have to think about it. And so for me, I thought, I'm getting out there at 9 o'clock. I'm getting an early start. I probably should have headed out at 6 a.m.
Yeah, before sun up. Been there when the sun come up.
Yep.
Or even before. Yep.
When I left Alaska, which was, we're 20 years ago, we had left on a record-breaking summer in our area of a high of 97 degrees. Have you guys gotten any hotter there?
Let me see. The hottest I've seen up here in Alaska is probably 100, 101. So, it does get really nice. The heat up here, I don't mind in the summer. It's dry. It's not humid. And I'm really comfortable at 90 degrees here. Most Alaskans melt at 90 degrees and they're very uncomfortable, and there's not, a fan left in a store in the state if it gets up to 90 degrees. But I actually like 85, 90. That's really nice for me. The cold, I get tired of the cold sometimes.
Cold hurts.
Yeah.
Hurts my fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, older I get, the more it hurts.
Right on, new
Yeah.
member of the Flash
Yeah,
Fam.
it's not a lot of fun. It's where I live right now, the winters don't get as cold, but where I grew up, interior Alaska, I've seen almost 70 below, and you really don't even want to leave your house at that point.
I want to leave Alaska at that point.
Exactly.
Let me say hi to a couple people that just come in here. Some of our West Coast buddies. We got Smith Gold and Patriot Prospecting, and I suspect that Two Toes is lurking in the background.
He might be eating
Yeah, I suspect.
dinner and listening and watching. We have Ray Russo, our friend from Juneau.
And the ever so late ERRT radio.
He was only 45 minutes late today, but he just became a Gold Spec member. So thank you very much, ERRT Radio.
Okay, so it's just ever so late then, huh?
We can't help giving him a hard time, Bethany. We've known Ronald a long time.
Since before we started the show.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's his idea that we're on tonight at this time.
Right. I was playing with either Thursdays or Tuesdays, and we let him know all the time.
Yeah.
Don't we, Ronald?
So now that we've interrupted you, so silliness. We just have to do it to him, I mean, we have to. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like family. We have to give him a hard time, Bethany. I hope you understand.
He would.
Oh yeah, yep, I get it.
He would think we didn't like him anymore if we just ignored him.
Right.
But
No,
we
can't have that.
no, can't have that. Not from our favorite Ronald. Well, second favorite Ronald. Well, maybe third. I don't know.
Well, he's definitely our favorite ERRT Radio.
He is.
So I think one of our favorite questions to ask people from northern areas is any crazy encounters with the wildlife?
No, I can't say I have. I've had, everybody always asks about bears. That's the first thing. And there's been times where I've been out and seen a lot of bear scat, and I've, been on edge, been watching, but never really had any encounters out there. I do pack a 10 millimeter with me when I'm out right now. I haven't had to use it, but I just makes me feel a bit better. And I used to take my dog with me.
Good.
What was that?
I say you don't really have to, I feel like in Alaska, if you're not carrying while you're out in the wilderness, you're a little silly. I think it's something you really need to do.
That question that Rose asked, that we usually ask our guests, especially like guests out in the wilderness and stuff, that also includes two-legged animals, not just the four-legged type.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're out there too.
Crazy people.
Yeah. You never know about that. Well, I do conceal carry, but that's for the two-legged predators. So that's just mostly when I'm in town.
Yeah. I just wanted you to understand we meant all those things.
Yeah.
But we asked that question because all those things are possible.
What do you pack in the woods?
I have a 10 millimeter that I have a chest holster for, and it enables me, I can still put like a digging pouch around my waist that way, and it doesn't get in the way of me digging or swinging a detector or anything.
Right.
And so, you know, it's not the biggest gun in the world, but it would work if I needed it. And like I said, I take my dog. I'm feel pretty secure having her along. She'll bark at anything and give me a heads up.
Does that ever freak you out? Like, does she ever bark at nothing and then you're convinced something's going to happen?
Well, the one trip, my ex and I got dropped off from the train. So there's a train up here that does flag stop drop.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can get dropped off. And then when you're ready to get picked up, you just go back to the tracks. And when they come through, you flag them down and you get back on. And so we did a drop off for 3 days for a relic hunting remote trip. And I have seen more bear scat there in 3 days than I've ever seen in my lifetime combined. And we didn't sleep too well at night. The dogs were, you know, growling and barking all night long. And, you know, I'm sure there was a lot around, but yeah, that was the only time I felt that I've, you know, never seen so much bear scat in my life. There was a lot around.
So that question then has a tendency to usually morph into this one, I think, where as you're visiting these older areas, these ghost towns and whatnot, have you had any supernatural encounters?
I haven't really had any supernatural encounters, but there's definitely, you know, some places you go into, you can kind of feel the presence of people that were there, and it just affects you in a different way. And for me, the last couple of videos I did, if you go to my YouTube channel, I did a series of 3 videos about a woman who was known as Tisha. And she was a woman who traveled up to Alaska in the early 1900s. She was a remote school teacher that lived in Chicken, Alaska. And I was able to be one of the first people who ever had permission to metal detect that area that we know of. And I spent the night in her schoolhouse alone. And I have to say, it wasn't the best night's sleep I ever had. It was eerie. There was just something about it. You know, the door wouldn't latch. There was coyotes prowling around outside. And just felt like her, you know, what she had gone through. And in the book, she talked about how scared she was the first night, listening for animal sounds and it being dark and not feeling protected. And so it was a really unique experience to be able to lay there on my cot in her quarters and read her book of her first night there. And I just felt this connection with her.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Read her book in her schoolhouse or her cabin?
Well, so the schoolhouse had the living quarters attached.
Oh, well, of course.
And yeah, it was the schoolhouse she had was an original late 1800s hotel. And it sounds bigger than it was. It's only 2 rooms with like an upstairs that you can't access anymore. But so when she had moved in the early 1900s, that little hotel had been turned into the schoolhouse. So one side was her schoolhouse, one side was her living quarters.
Cool. Yeah, I can imagine that just first of all, just being in there alone at night is probably spooky enough as it is, but then to be reading her book too. Yeah.
And, you know, I try to encourage people to get that book. It's really an amazing piece of Alaska history. She talks a lot about what was going on, you know, in that time with the gold mining and the people, what was going on with the Alaska natives and perspective at that time. And so, you know, it's really, really good book. I try to encourage people to pick up that book and read it because it's an incredible true story about these people that lived through some really harsh, demanding, you know, times in life here in Alaska. They didn't have, I wear the military bunny boots when I'm out,
Mhm.
and my feet are always toasty in those. And I have all these extra thick layers. They were up here in leather boots and some wool pants, so they had to brave a lot.
Yeah. They nothing like what we have now to cover ourselves.
Whole different breed back then, though. I think if you put a lot of people nowadays and what they had back then in those conditions, they wouldn't last long.
Even with the modern equipment we got now, a lot of people couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alaska is one of the last few places where you can still have an experience just like that. Like you said, you got dropped off by a train and you were in the wilderness for 3 days. If something had happened, there's not much you can do out there.
No, there isn't. And I started taking a satellite phone with me because there are things that can happen. And, it would take you maybe half a day to get a helicopter in or something. But at least with a satellite phone, I could send a text out. And I do enjoy going out on more of those remote adventures. So it just feels a little bit more secure to have that. And
do you
those
carry
people who
a
live back
beacon
in
with
there,
you? Do you carry a beacon with you?
I don't carry a beacon with me. I just have my sat phone. And, I usually let somebody know my location, where I'm going to be,
When
that
you
sort of
should
thing. And then they
return.
know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did the same thing back in the Cascades. I would leave a map of the area I was going to be at with somebody and a time I should be home. If I'm not back by this time, it'd probably be a good time to start getting someone up there. But back in those days, satellite phones were very expensive. I don't think GPS even worked good. I was using good old-fashioned orientation skills, a topo map, a compass, and
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's a good skill to have. And if you don't have that, you really should learn how to read a map and a compass. Especially
yeah,
out
no one should go out there depending fully on technology.
That's
right. Right. Absolutely.
Yep. Things can happen. I mean, even with the satellite phone, you can have a battery issue. Things can happen, and you can't foresee everything, but it's good to have a backup plan. And, it's a risk you take in these sort of things that I do, like scuba diving and hiking out there. There's always a risk. And I've had a lot of people say, this is a good idea. This is dangerous. But, I saw this saying, and it says that everything can kill you, so you might as well choose something fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So,
I like that.
You think about it, every time you cross the street, you can get killed hit by a car, right? Which is why you take the precaution of looking both ways before you cross. It's everything you do, something could happen. So you
Especially
take
on your street, Jesse.
especially on my street. That's my cars. But just walking down the street, you don't know what's going to happen, but you take precautions. If you're awake, you pay attention to what's going on around you all the time. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that's what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say, well, in Alaska, there's so much that can go wrong with scuba diving and all of that sort of thing. But you do the same thing. You take precautions. I don't dive solo, and I have a buddy. And before we go down, we talked about what we're going to do and when we're going to turn the dive and come back. And that's just things can happen and go wrong, but you take the precautions you can, and then you live life. And diving in Alaska is incredible. Even though the water is cold, it's just amazing. And so it's not something I would want to give up just because you have a risk like that.
Right. And, you know, so now you can't hide in your house forever. You know, just can't do it.
You could have a gas leak in your house. You could have a heart attack when you go to bed. You could, you know.
Yep.
if you live that way.
Yeah.
I'm scared to live now.
Hey, up here in Alaska, it could be an earthquake. So.
Right.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, well, earthquakes, any landslides?
Landslides, avalanches,
we had-
tsunamis.
Yep.
So now,
Yeah. It's all that kind of stuff.
where you're at, you're more inland, right?
Yeah, I'm about probably at least a 30-minute drive away from the ocean.
Uh.
So I'm not too interior anymore. I grew up interior,
No, okay.
but I'm pretty close to the ocean now.
How about any volcanoes?
Yeah, I mean Alaska does have some, but nothing that's really active right now. And you know, I'm pretty far away from everything. So I guess my biggest concern would be earthquake. My house is pretty close to a fault line, and in the 2018 earthquake, I had a lot of damage to my house and lost a lot of my relics. So for me, that's probably my biggest concern where I'm at, but you can't do anything about it.
Do you tacky a lot of your stuff down?
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, after the earthquake, I started doing that.
Yeah.
I lost. Yeah, it took me 5.5 hours to clean up broken glass after the earthquake in November. I lost a lot of pieces I was really sad about. So yeah, things are stuck down to my shelves now.
Mhm.
So have you done any gold prospecting?
She dredged
I
on.
actually, yep, I started a little bit this last summer, just kind of, well, when I was up there in Chicken, I had a friend that had a 6-inch dredge up there, and I spent some time on the 40 mile with him. So that was a new thing for me.
So, but
And there is a video.
But you haven't gone out prospecting, like panning for gold or anything like that.
I did a little bit of it with my ex, but yeah, mostly I wasted a lot of time trying to do it that way. So there's a reason that most people up here use dredges, or they do the cat mining, use the equipment. So
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Let's see, where am I at now?
We're going back.
Let's get Bethany to 1,000 subscribers, everyone. She's at, let me see, 946. Jeez, come on, less than.
Getting there.
So we got any questions from the chat room?
Oh.
We've been trying to get them. Oh, look, hey, what's up, Ron?
Kurt wants to know what the coldest water she's ever dived in,
Ooh.
or ever been in, I guess it says. What's the coldest water you ever been in?
Well, coldest water I've ever dove in is 40 degrees so far. And I'd like to eventually work my way up to maybe doing some ice diving, but I only got certified in June of this year, and there's just a lot, especially with learning to dive in Alaska. The whole dry suit diving is just a whole different thing. People that learn to dive in warm water, it's just a little bit easier. With dry suits, you have to worry about how much air you're adding and not having issues with that. So I want to give myself a good year or so, just really getting comfortable with that before I start adding some ice diving to it, because there you go, increasing your danger level by a lot.
Right.
So,
And, step by step, you can't,
Yeah, learn as you go. Is there
Right.
is there any particular reason why you want to ice dive? Is there an area you want to go check out? Is there, to go see something, a bucket list item as why you want to do it? I think we may, or yep. Oh, I think you're back.
I think I'm back. Sorry, my internet kind of goes in and out here on me.
You are in Alaska,
Right.
after all. Your kid
Yeah,
on a video game upstairs? No, I'm just.
Ask your question again.
No, yeah.
Do you have any goals with the ice diving when you do decide to do it? After you educate yourself a bit, is there anywhere you want to go or any reason why you want to do it?
Eventually I wouldn't mind doing, some more like ocean dredging and trying some different things like that. I think that would be like a long-term try some of that. But it's fun to take each new step to learn something new, and I would love to try it. I hear that it's a really cool experience, and so eventually I'd like to get there.
So say you had no restrictions, again, no holds barred. Would you ever do any like Arctic ice diving, going to look for Greenland sharks or Arctic wildlife?
Oh yeah, I would love to do that someday. I'm, like I said, just getting certified here in Alaska, pretty much just get used to cold water diving.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would be something I'd eventually like to do. I think that would be a really cool experience.
The bucket list, that's awesome.
Now, if, say,
Yeah.
our guest in a couple of weeks, Vern Atkinson, the Wild Ranger, say he called you up and say, I hear you're really into diving and you've dredged on the 40-mile. Want to come dredge for me in the Bering Sea and dredge with like Shawana, I think it's her name, Shawana. She dredges up in the Bering Sea. What would you say? Would you go for it?
I would probably go for it. That's kind of me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would probably do it. Yeah, I'm kind of that way right now. This trip I'm taking this December was kind of spontaneous like that. I had one of my viewers that follows my page invited me to go down to New Orleans, where they're doing some really cool digs from the 1800s. And they offered to buy my plane ticket down and help put me up. And so that's one of those things I don't usually think about twice. And I'm like, okay, I'll rearrange my schedule and make it happen. So that's kind of what I'm headed down, gonna spend a few days in New Orleans doing some relic hunting there. And then I got invited to Alabama to do some metal detecting there. I'm gonna head over there. And then about a week down in Florida, I'm gonna do some diving. So really looking forward to that.
What a trip. And it's gonna be nice
So-
weather for you, huh?
So since you've
I
been
hope
starting,
so.
since you started doing YouTube, have you noticed that the world is opening up to you?
It is. And I have to say, I have met some of the coolest people that are into relic hunting and metal detecting. So many people have just opened their home to me and made it possible for me to travel so much cheaper. People from all over have offered to, buy me a plane ticket and let me go experience that over there. And it's just been really awesome for me to make friends all over the world. And, it's my dream. I would love to be able to do it full time if I could.
I hear
I hear
you
that.
there, sister.
We get invited too, but no one's ever offered plane fare.
Yeah, no doubt. Come on, people, what's up?
Where's the plane fare?
She's a lot better looking than us guys.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
But I'm just,
exception for
That might have
Mrs.
something to do
Briggs,
with
but
it.
she's married. So
no, she said X. Well, we won't go
Mrs.
there.
Briggs.
Oh, Mrs. Briggs. Mrs. Briggs. I'm sorry.
She's part of us.
Yeah,
Right,
you know,
right.
we have had offers and stuff, and they've been made, I feel like, out of genuine friendliness.
Yes.
It's nice to have pretty girls around, I'm sure, but I was going to lead this into a question for you, Bethany. As you're getting bigger, as your channel's growing, as you're communicating with your fans, have you ever had any uncomfortable or disturbing moments with any fans?
Yeah, I have to say, you know, I've had to say more than once that I'm not looking for a relationship right now. You know, you want to talk to me, we'll talk about relic hunting, and I'll stay up all night long talking to you about diving, but you know, there have to draw a line somewhere.
Gotta
So,
be clean.
There's always that line, isn't there?
there is, for sure.
Now,
No, Ray says he likes girls in wetsuits. That's what he said. But
what guy don't, Ray?
but
What guy don't?
Ray's our bad Santa, so you know.
Yeah. He's a great guy, though. Now, has it happened to you yet where you're out and about, even up in the wilds of AK, and someone comes up to you and says, I know you. You're Alaska relic hunter.
You know, I haven't had that happen yet. You know, a lot of people in Alaska, they know what I do, and I run into a lot of people I know just out and about. So, you know, it's kind of funny because everybody that knows me up here, they just know me as the girl next door. And so, you know, it's kind of a big transition for everybody that knows me, that I'm traveling all over now and, you know, doing this, being invited to different places. And so that's kind of a change for them. My kids are like, do these people know how boring you are, Mom? All you talk about is history. Like, I'm like, yeah, they do.
It's not that you're boring. They just don't understand how cool you are.
That's right.
In about 20 years ago from now, they'll be looking back at some of your pictures and they're going, wow, Mom was cool. That was cool. I'm not even nowhere near that cool. You'll see.
Yeah.
Ray Rusa has a question. Is she part of the Alaska's Hidden History crew, Bryan Weed? Question mark.
Well, I'm not actually part of that. So Bryan is in Juneau, and I was supposed to meet up with him when I was in Juneau 2 weekends ago diving, but he was doing a tour up into one of the tunnels, the mining tunnels, and I had just done 2 dives the day before and was pretty sore, and I just was not feeling up to hiking a mountain in snowshoes. So I told him I'm going to come back in the summer and we'll connect up and do some cool hikes and stuff. But the Juneau history site there, that's really cool. It's a great spot for people to go check out some history. And yeah, they're a great group there.
Cool.
Our buddy Ray Russo there, he's in Juneau and he dredges on the beach there.
Okay.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
Ray. Now you said your kids snowboard and stuff. Do you snowboard or ski or telemark or anything like that? Backcountry skiing or anything?
Well, I grew up cross country skiing. Where I grew up, it was fairly flat. We didn't have a lot of downhill skiing. So I don't cross country ski now. I haven't done it for a few years. I've done quite a bit of snowshoeing over the years. using snow machines. I spent probably 10 years doing some trapping with my ex. And so, kind of do some of that right now. I'm not going to do snowboarding. I went up with my kids one day and I couldn't move the next day. And I decided that I am too old for this.
Oh, snowboarding's
So-
fun.
Yeah, when you're young.
I'm going to save my joints for other things. So,
I hear that.
Bethany, I catch a lot of grief for using the term snow machine. People are like, a snow machine? You mean a snowmobile? I'm like, no, a snow machine. And they're like, snow machines get rid of snow. And then we have to argue over that all the
Or
time.
they make snow.
It was nice to hear, or they make snow. That's right. But you're not allowed to say that down south. You can't say snow machine.
Oh, no. I knew exactly what
Yeah,
you
well-
meant.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
up
something
here-
for making snow.
yeah. Well, up here, if somebody's not from Alaska because they say snowmobile and you look at them like,
Huh?
oh, what? It's a snow machine.
It's a sled.
Yeah,
That's
mo-
what-
motor
Yeah.
mining, it's a sled.
It's a sled with a motor
Yeah.
on it.
That's what my kids call it. They're taking their sleds out. So,
You mentioned your dog earlier. What kind of dog do you have?
I have two dogs. I have one that's a lab. She's 12 years old girl. She doesn't go out much with me anymore. And then I have one that's just turned 3. She's lab and Rottweiler mix. And I feel real safe with her. She's massive and she definitely is a good guard dog. So I love taking her out with me.
No, I'd feel comfortable with that's a healthy mix right there. Do you have any other
Yeah.
animals?
I have a cat. She lays around the house, but yeah, other than that, I try not to have too much. I grew up in interior Alaska with a little farm, and we had horses and cattle and goats and all that. But with the lifestyle that I'm choosing, it's really hard to have livestock. So for me, I keep it down to my dogs that can either, stay with a friend or go with me, just so I'm more free to travel, because that's the direction I'm going in. My kids are going to be out of the house here in a few years, and I would love to be able to travel fine if I can.
Have you ever done any mushing?
I did not, I haven't myself. Where I grew up at, it's a very high population of dog mushers. So, I've messed around with the sleds and the dog team some and done some of that. I grew up in an area close to, it's called Chitna, and it's a native village that's interior. And there's a lot of mushers in that area.
That always seemed pretty cool to me. There were some dog team mushers that would practice on the logging land behind my house in Washington. During the summer, their sleds would have wheels, and then they'd go higher up into the Cascades during the winter. So I always thought it was pretty cool, but man, be a lot of fish and stuff you have to feed those pooches.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah,
curious.
and it's been our runs haven't been really good lately. The where I grew up at, we used the fish wheel every year and would pull 200 or 300 salmon out. And the last couple of years, I haven't been able to use the wheel for the last 2 years. The fishing game actually had to shut the wheels down 2 seasons ago because the runs were so poor. And this last season, even though the wheels were out, this last year, I think I got maybe a dozen fish. That
Wow.
was it. And that's hard for me. My whole life, I had a freezer full of salmon, and that's what salmon and moose. And so this year, it's been kind of sad for me.
You hunt too? You hunt moose?
Yeah, I have. The
Yeah.
last couple of years, I haven't done a lot of hunting. because, you know, I've got kids and I'm doing more traveling and a lot going on. I
Life.
have a friend, my friend that lives in Chicken, we do trades. And so I've traded to get a couple, you know, caribou from her and that sort of thing. So.
Now,
Uh,
how is moose compared to like elk? I've never ate caribou, but I've eaten a lot of elk and venison. A lot of salmon.
I like moose. I think moose might compare more to beef, except it's really lean. It's not very gamey. I prefer moose over beef myself. I like the flavor. Now, caribou is probably going to be closer to like your elk. Caribou can be really gamey. A nice cow, the last caribou I had was amazing. It was very tender and it wasn't gamey at all. But especially if you get a bull that's closer to the rut, some of them, I can't even eat it. Some of the caribou is really gamey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had moose either. Heavy metal.
That reminds me. Hey, Ottis, are you gonna be sending some elk with our care package, dude? I brought it up and he said I said I haven't had no elk in the 20 years since I've lived out here in the Midwest, and I miss it. So hopefully he'll be throwing in some elk for us, guys.
Jerky, right? That's what you're talking about. I don't think a steak would last.
There's a
Not
thing
without
called dry ice.
Hefty
Yeah.
price tag. Yeah, you could ship it.
Okay.
I used to get salmon off the Upper Skagit Indians. I'd have freezer loads. I let Judy eat all the salmon now. I'll eat the halibut and cod. She can have the salmon.
I really like smoking it. I smoke salmon, you know, it seems like it goes too fast if we smoke it. We built a large smoker in our backyard and we can do quite a few at one time. And boy, it just goes so fast if you smoke it. The kids, every time I turn around, I'm like, what?
I
Gone
did have
again.
a smokehouse in my backyard in Washington. It was probably like 8 feet tall, 3 by 3. Had like 8 racks in it, I think. But yeah, smoked salmon's good, but we don't get that here. So.
David Villa says chocolate mousse don't count, Jaron.
Oh man, I love chocolate mousse.
I guess they don't count as moose. Yeah, I've never had moose. I think I had elk once. I do like fish.
Yeah, well, I cooked up a big pot of moose ribs yesterday, and I think my kids demolished them in one day. So it's pretty
Sounds good. I mean, I like meat.
Well, when we go to Alaska, we're gonna have to go to a certain B&B and have some moose ribs.
All right.
There you go. Well, you better hope I get another roadkill because I'm almost finished eating this last roadkill moose I got.
I was going to ask you if you were part of any roadkill programs or if they were still doing it, which I think is fantastic.
Well, that's the moose we're actually eating on right now. I got it the end of 2017. It was actually killed by a snow machine. Snow machine had hit the 2 front legs, so there was no meat damage at all. And the snow machiner drug it out behind his sled, and troopers gave me a call. So it was a nice sized bull, and yeah, it took a day and a half to process it and get it in my freezer, but can't go wrong with that.
No complaints here. I mean, that's
So-
neat.
Yeah, right. So what do you do? Get sign up on a list, and then they rotate around the list.
They have a roadkill list. You have to have at least 6 adults on it so that when they call you, at least one person will be able to go. You're supposed to be at the location, whether it's on the highway or if somebody dropped it off at the troopers. You're supposed to be there within 45 minutes. So they need somebody there pretty quick to take care of it, especially if it's on the highway or something
Right.
like that. And so, yeah, it just circles around. And I missed my last call, which was
Oh.
unfortunate, but you know, it takes a year or two usually, and they circle around and call you again for another one. And so that's a lot of people up here. If you can stay on the roadkill list, you almost don't need to go hunting.
Yep.
Ah.
You can, you know, get them that way.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not an idea that's implemented here with deer or anything like that, with the amount of deer we see on the road. But
What I think they eat roadkill all the time in West Virginia, don't they, Aaron? Or is he
Here,
in Virginia?
Here, you hit a deer and then leave it sit on the side of the road, and
Yeah.
decomposers right there. Yeah, they don't even clean them up.
and I don't think you're allowed to pick them up either.
Oh,
I don't remember. I'm not.
I thought Ohio passed a roadkill law.
I think if you call in, a sheriff comes out, you pick it up, he witnesses it, you're good. I believe that's how it goes now.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, there was a time when you couldn't do anything with them
crazy.
because it was killed illegally.
Okay.
It wasn't really your fault, though.
But that's beside the point. You didn't have a hunting license to kill it.
It ruined your car. You had to turn it in.
Right. It's going to cost you $500 for, you know, your deductible. Well, thanks for stopping in, Josh. I hope next time you can stay a little longer.
Yeah. Definitely. Hello, so long,
Well,
farewell.
looks like David Diaz out of here too. Night, David.
Night.
Later, David.
Jonathan Friend says, in California, you can if you call in fishing game, you just can't chase them down.
Oh, man.
Take all the fun out of it. Man, good old redneck hunting there.
Yeah. Oh, and Todd said the same thing. You cannot keep your roadkill.
You can now do it in
Now
California.
keep.
Yeah, in California. Ooh, rabbits and possums
That's
too?
awesome.
Ooh, little possum stick.
Ooh.
Mmm.
It's got to be weird, you know, if you're not used to it, to be driving by and see somebody picking up a carcass off the side of the road and throwing it in the back of the truck. That's got to be a sight to see for some.
There's supper tonight, kids.
We're going to eat good.
Yep. Well, you know, I kind of did that a while back with a beaver. I saw a truck go by in front of me, and I saw something had come flying out underneath his wheels, and I was like, what happened with that? So I pulled over and went back, and he had roadkill a beaver that was trying to cross the road. And I was like, hey, I'm taking that. I'm going to skin that out. The hide's intact, and so
Waste not.
yeah,
want
you never
not.
know what you can get.
Yeah. That's I guess, a whole nother form of treasure hunting.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who is a practicing taxidermist who frequently picks up roadkill for that exact reason. She wants practice and she wants to be able to figure things out. So she's actively looking for roadkill whenever she can.
Well, I like to make stuff if you can get the beaver hides tanned.
Mhm.
Right.
I've made a lot of things with beaver hides over the year. And so, I mean, they have a really nice pelt. I would hate to see it just wrecked on the highway.
For sure.
So I like doing stuff with that.
What about I don't think we brought it up. Have you done any sort of gemstone hunting, any rock hunting, fossil hunting up there in Alaska?
You know, I haven't, and it's something that a number of people are into the fossil hunting up here. There's some really good areas, probably about an hour's drive away from where I'm at. And I'm afraid to take up another hobby. Every one of my hobbies takes up so much time. I'm like,
Well,
I
see,
can't get addicted to anything else.
here's the problem. In your explorations of metal detecting and mud lurking and bottle dump digging, guess what you're going to run into eventually? You know? some nice stones. You go,
Yeah.
oh man, that's a pretty rock. What is it? Why, that's an emerald. And you go, oh, wow, I'm gonna buy
Yeah.
some more.
Or
Oh,
someone
yeah.
tells you it's an Indian sex rock.
Oh yeah, right.
Just
You know
an
what-
effing rock, you know.
You know what Indian sex rock, right? You know what that is?
It's
It's an effing rock.
an effing rock.
You're talking about like a leverite?
Yeah, yeah.
right.
You leave it right where
Okay.
you found it. Sorry, bad joke. Dong.
Okay. Must be getting about that time. Yes, it is. Look at that. Right on time. Is that right on time, man?
Right on time with the bad joke. Oh. Oh my goodness sakes alive. Okay, where are we now?
So we can find you under
Alaska
Alaska Treasure Hunter on Facebook.
Alaska Relic Hunter
Okay,
on
Relic Hunter.
Facebook.
Right.
I'll get her Alaska Relic Hunter page link in the chat right now.
And if you haven't gone over to see her YouTube videos, go ahead and check them out. Subscribe to her. Let's get her over 1,000.
Her YouTube channel right below it. So visit her at YouTube, subscribe, make sure to hit the bell, and live vicariously through her journeys in
Absolutely.
the Great White North.
So Bethany,
Well, on
go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so on Facebook, I'm Bethany Alaska Relic Hunter is my page on there. And then I actually have a second page that is Alaska Relic Hunter as well.
That's
So
the
you
one I
can
put
find
out there.
both of those on Facebook. And then I'm on Instagram as well. So if you put in Alaska Relic Hunter on there, you'll be able to find me on there.
Are you on TikTok
yeah, one of those
yet?
places. No, my kids are trying to get me to do it, and I'm just resisting. So
So I call it going down the hole. Going down the
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
that's that big old rabbit hole. Because then it'll be BitChute and Odyssey and all these other platforms. But
yeah,
it's been fun talking to you tonight. I did want to say, so after tonight, when your channel starts popping off and getting to 2,000 and 3,000, you done passed us up and you're at 5,000.
10,000.
Don't forget to come back and say, hi, you guys. It's been nice.
okay. I definitely will.
While we hover about where we're at.
Yeah, for the last long time.
No, it's okay. Hey, it's a long game.
Right. But no, it's like
Well,
I
I
said.
appreciate.
Go ahead.
I appreciate you guys having me on here. I love to talk to anybody about relic hunting and metal detecting and scuba diving, and I've met some of the greatest people through that. So I've had a great time just laughing and talking with you guys on here and making new friends. So
Cool.
if you guys ever get up to Alaska, like I said, I've got a B&B and I have some really awesome places to go find some bottles, and I know some great places to dive. So always, love to have people let me know if you get up here, and would love to meet up with anybody and do some fun adventures up here.
That sounds like
we
fun.
have a
It
quick
sounds-
question, even though might have been when you were gone, Jonathan. She uses a Garrett. What's your main detector?
It's the AT Pro. And I'm gonna eventually try to find a better detector for diving. But for what I do up here in Alaska, the AT Pro has been awesome right now.
So if you guys out there want to see us in Alaska, go ahead and send us some money for plane fare.
There you go.
Just kidding, people. We'll take care of ourselves. No, I'm not kidding. Rose says, yeah, bring it
Yeah,
on.
let's go to Alaska.
Bring it on.
That's right.
We'll do a benefit for us.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of these days we'll have to have a Alaska fundraising a marathon or something.
Yeah, there you go.
One day we'll get there.
Definitely. You guys should plan it.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to get up there. I should have went there when my daughter lived right down the road from you in the ghetto of Alaska. She lived in Juneau for a while.
Yes, Patrick, first class.
Not you. You have to go in luggage. Just kidding, Patrick. Bethany, I really appreciate you accepting our offer to join us tonight. I hope you had as much fun as we did. And
Yep.
feel
Well,
free
thank
to.
you very much for inviting me.
You're more
I
than
can't-
welcome.
I can't wait to go check out those 3 videos there of Chicken Alaska. I didn't realize that you had them, 1, 2, and 3 now. So now
I've seen
it's out.
2. I haven't seen the 3rd one yet.
But open up her.
Well, I hear it's everyone's favorite. So the
Yeah.
3rd one they say is the one you should finish up with.
Well,
Yep.
I better go watch it.
Yeah, and don't forget, open up her video tab there because she's got a lot more videos than what's on that front tab. There's quite a few videos there from when you were in the UK doing your metal detecting there. There's a lot of stuff on there. Your mud lurking. I haven't looked at those yet, but I will. I'll eventually get to them. I got.
Now, is that where you found the clay pipes, mud lurking?
Yes, that's where, and people have picked up hundreds of those on the Thames River over there. They were, back in that day, they were like our cigarette butts these days. So they were disposable. It was a one-time smoke, and they tossed it in the river. Just some gorgeous finds out there.
Oh, I bet.
One of
By
my
any
favorite things
chance,
to find.
were you with Nicole White, I believe it is, there?
So Nick and I have talked online quite a bit. We went out and did some bottle dump digging with he goes by Sci-Finds. And so if you look him up on YouTube, I don't know, he's got a lot of followers on there. He kind of was the one that helped me start my YouTube channel. He gave me a lot of recommendations. So if you want
Awesome.
to see some really cool mudlarking, find Sci-Finds Mudlark on YouTube. Go check him out over there. He was awesome. It took my ex and I out to see a lot of really cool stuff there. So yeah, lots of great friends over there in the UK from that trip.
Cool. We've got a comment here from one of our chat members that wants to let you know you were great. Bethany, you were great. Mark Miller
Yeah.
said that. So, oh no, did we?
I'm seeing a lot of great comments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Cheryl Me said she's been following her for quite a while and is quite a fan of your channel. If you can hear us.
Did we lose
Excellent.
her? I think she froze.
She looks frozen.
The
Oops,
Alaskan
froze.
internet said 2 hours is all you get.
Yeah. Wow, you're done.
Done.
Well,
Oh.
yeah. Well, look. I think we
Well,
lost you. Oh, wait. There
There
she
she
is.
is.
There you
There she is. There she is.
Did you put
I
another?
made it back.
Did you put another nickel in the slot?
Yeah, I think it needed another quarter. So
There you go. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on, Bethany. It was a pleasure having you. As always, it was a pleasure having all of you out there joining us every Tuesday night. We're here We've been here for going on 4 years. Next week, we're having the crew and captain of the Wild Ranger from the Discovery Channel's Bering Sea Gold. That should be a great show. Remember, everyone, let's get a little under Vernon's skin. Let's act like no one is here for him and we're all there for Bryan. Let's get Bryan in trouble.
Well, I hate to tell you, Ed, I like Bryan. I think he's a friend. I'm here for Bryan.
Well, Bryan's a personal friend of ours.
Right.
We all know him personally, but I just say that because Bryan's mentioned a couple times up in Nome when he was
Right.
on his dredge. He was getting kind of frustrated because he seemed like more people knew who Bryan was.
Actually, I think even Vern mentioned it in one of the video clips.
Oh, really? More people know who you are than I am. No, but I look forward to having the whole crew on. We're having Gary Simpson, Bryan Wilder, Vern Atkinson, I think's how you pronounce his name. I better get it right before the show. But everybody, thanks again for joining us for another great Tuesday night Hangout Live. Totally awesome guest. Thank you, Miss Briggs, for joining us tonight. Jesse, Dano, as always, and all of you, the Flash fam. I hope you have a totally awesome rest of the week. We'll see you next Tuesday. May you always have a flash in your pan.
And you know what he's going to say next.
That's right, Jesse, because why? It happens. I actually look forward to it. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet you on the river. Good night, everybody. God bless.
Good night, everybody.
Yep, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Yep. Night,
Greatly
Mark.
appreciate it. Make
Mother
sure
Rain.
you go subscribe to Bethany.
So
Yes.
let's go. He's so
Benzo,
The link's in the description.
4, 3, 2.
you be well too, Ert.
If you go to Alaska,
Hey, just missed him,
patronize her
Bryan.
bed and
Call in.
breakfast. Brian,
You're late.
you're late.
$20.
Night,
The
Miss
bill's
Laurel.
in the mail, dude. You missed our pun for your show.
All right.
No, you're way late, Brian. Way, 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 way late.